So this book seems to be a very small book. If you go for distribution, we all of us, we have Prabhupada has given us distributing his books. So if you go for distributing this book and you come back and they announce, so this book comes in the category of small books. So when they announce, they say, so Yugal Sham distributed one small book. But if you know, this one small book has an ability and potency to take you from Ado Shraddha to Prem in just 11 in 11 shlokas. This is the magic of this book. This is a very unique thing of this book. How many of you are aware about in army or navy or air force or during the war times, we had this Operation Sindoor the last month. So they generally, whenever army or military forces or this defense forces, they communicate during the war. It's not a straight away they communicate. They use some cryptic language at times. Also during older times in India, when we used to have telegram, I'm not talking about telegram app, I'm talking about a telegram where people have to write a message, an important urgent message in a very, very selective chosen words. So when Rup Goswami wrote this 11 shlokas, or he spoke this 11 shlokas, originally it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually who spoke these shlokas, but it was he made Rupa Goswami as his mouthpiece to speak these shlokas. So he has to be, whenever he has to give a very compact message, like as I said, from Shraddha till Prem, it's a huge journey. It takes lifetimes at times to cover this. But to covering it in 11 shloka, that means you have to be very precise, concise. You can't use extra words. Right? We can see in this very concisely, Rupa Goswami is giving us this entire, all the shlokas. You may be wondering, why at all this book starts, if you see the first shloka of this book, it starts with Vacho Vegam. Why Vacho Vegam? It could have been anything else. It can be Jiva Vegam, it can be anything. You could have started the book. But if you're aware about the story, when there's one scholar who had come to Vrindavan, he wanted to wanted to sign a Jayapatra, a letter where Rupa Goswami Sanatana Goswami writes, given written that, and actually this scholar is the greatest scholar of the entire India, even we accept the defeat. You heard this pastime before? Never heard this pastime? This is very famous from Chaitanya Charitamrita comes. Where and then later, after Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami feel okay, why we should waste so much of time in debates. Ultimately, Vrindavan not a place for debates. The place of debates is Varanasi, Kashi. It's not Vrindavan. So why we should spend our time with all these useless things? Then they signed that Jayapatra for him. And as he was coming, happy, ecstatic that, finally I have got a signatured letter from Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami that they accept me as the Digvijayi. So what else remains for me now? So he was coming on the way, he came across Jiva Goswami where he said, oh, your Guru has signed his patra for me. You also sign. So what? What you are talking? How can you think of defeating Rupa Goswami? Is he so cheap? Is he so naive that he can get defeated by someone like you? If you can defeat me, then I will agree. Then Jiva Goswami and the Digvijay, they had a debate, and he was thoroughly defeated, smashed by Jiva Goswami completely. And as he comes to know this thing, as he defeats him, he comes back and he begs forgiveness from Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami comes to him that Jiva Goswami defeated him here. Jiva Goswami becomes angry with Rupa Goswami becomes angry with Jiva Goswami, saying that, can't you remain sober? You could have remained quiet. Your teachers are remaining quiet. Why you are becoming angry? So, how can your mind get affected, Jiva? That means you're not fit to debate. Is not a place. Debate is not a thing to be done in Vrindavan. Kashi is a place for Vrindavan. That means you're not fit to stay in Vrindavan, Jiva. Hey, Jiva Goswami, now please get out of Vrindavan. And then Jiva Goswami comes out and he stays near Mathura in a crocodile hole. There is sitting and doing austerity. And then after some time, Sanatana Goswami, he comes to know that some new Baba is there. when Baba is doing some tapasya near Mathura. And after when he comes to it's Jiva Goswami who's doing tapasya. He comes back to Rupa Goswami, says, "Oh Rupa Goswami, you have been doing Vaishnav Seva, you have Name Ruchi, but you're not doing Jiva Daya. You're not showing Daya to Jiva Goswami." In that way, if you see, in that way, actually, it was then Rupa Goswami calls him back and then he's accepted back. And he's teaching, that's why the teaching starts with Vacho Begum. Because Jiva Goswami could not have Vacho Begum when he wanted to defeat the Digvijay. So with this background, we can understand with what motive, what mood Rupa Goswami has given this book to us. So whenever we see any book, for instance, so every book has basically there are four important factors which we see in a book. The first factor is Vishaya. What is the subject matter of that book? What is the purpose of that book? What is subject matter? What is being spoken in this book? Second is who is Adhikari? Who is the eligible person to read this book? Like we have example of, I told how Rupa Goswami gave this instruction actually for Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami is Adhikari for these instructions. The third is Sambandha. How book describes the subject matter to us. Like it talks about Vaidhi Bhakti, it talks about Raga Bhakti. That is how the book goes ahead with the describing the subject matter to us. And finally, the fourth aspect of any book should be it is uh, prayojana. What is the goal? What is the goal has to achieve at the end of this book? So all these four aspects, Vishaya, Adhikari, Sambandha, and Prayojan, will be seen throughout this book by us. And how it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy who empowered Rupa Goswami, made Jiva Goswami as an instrument. So all of us would be learning this important science of Bhakti Yoga. So in this book, if we see, if we go as we go ahead from text 1 to 7, we'll have shloka describing about sadhana bhakti. 8 to 11 will be about raganuga bhakti. It talks about also uh, it also talks about what is the ultimate place, Radha Kunda, that the highest place in the entire creation, how we should take shelter of Radha Kunda. So in this way, this will be a journey of our book as we go ahead. As I said, text number 1 to 7 will talk about Vaidhi Bhakti. Text number 8 to 11 will be about Raga Bhakti, Raga Marga. And that also the whole thing is also divided different ways. Srila Prabhupada has told us that this book is a must be read immediately. Prabhupada said this in one of the letters. NOI is a book which must be read immediately. Why? Because this talks about different standards, it talks about different practices, which a sadhaka should have in his life, which will be important for all of us. We know in the Pranam Mantra of Rupa Goswami, Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Dati Sapadantikam. It is Shri Rupa Goswami who understood uh, the purpose of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who understood the mission of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And such a Rupa Goswami, I take his shelter, and if I take his shelter, then that becomes our then we can actually understand about the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by taking shelter of Rupa Goswami. So as I was telling you, before Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the contribution of this book was unknown. So this book was written at Terakadam by Rupa Goswami, this was mentioned there. And then later, as I was mentioning in 1940s, that's why there is an urgent call coming to me.
Guruji, you're on mute.
So I was telling there are many commentaries written to this book. We may be knowing few of them, but the first commentary, original commentary to this Upadeshamrita is called as Upadeshamrita Prakashika. Upadeshamrita Prakashika is written by Srila Radha Raman Das Goswami, who comes in the Sampradaya of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And then, as I said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the first one to find it in 1898, and he published this in his Sajjan Toshani in 1898. A short commentary, what he has written. Then, following the footstep, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote Anurukti commentary to Upadeshamrita. And also, he also wrote Upadeshamrita Bhasha. Apart from that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote songs for every verse in Bengali. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written three things. What are three things he wrote? Number one, he wrote was, that is a Anuvritti commentary. Sorry, Anuvritti is written by Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote his commentary. And then he wrote a Bhasha, and also he wrote poems. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, following the footsteps of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote a commentary called as Anuvritti commentary, which Prabhupada many times refers in this book. And also he also wrote another commentary called Upadeshamrita Bhasha in that way. And then in the modern times, we have Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our founder of ISKCON, who has wrote a commentary, and that's one of the most widely read commentary on this Upadeshamrita. So with these commentaries, I was just thinking that whether, if a time permits, we can also see the commentary by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Some of them, some chosen part we have taken. So as time and again, whenever it comes, relevant things comes, that time we'll display on the by sharing the screen, so all of you can see. Now let's move to the preface part of this book, which has very important instruction by Srila Prabhupada for all of us. There are 5 important themes which this book covers. The first thing this book covers is about the mind and sense control. The first thing of this book is it talk about how we have to control our mind, our senses, how to cultivate mode of goodness, how to make advancement in spiritual life ultimately by doing this. So goal of mind and sense control is to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. The second theme in this book is about attitude development. How one thing that how we Prabhupada says that how this Krishna consciousness movement is supervised by Sri Rupa Goswami. The same way we have our whole ISKCON, in ISKCON world we have GBCs, we have regional secretaries, we have temple presidents, we have our vice presidents and other whole team who are like supervising. So supervising is the first in this attitude development, and we follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas. That's the so first one was mind and sense control. Second one, the theme of this book is attitude development, which also has where it is mentioned how our activities are guided by the superiors, so that we can become pure Vaishnavas, and then by following in this way, the ultimate goal, that is Krishna Prem, will be revealed to us. With that goal, we begin this with this theme, with this thing in the back of our mind, we begin to read the preface. So I am reading the preface now. The Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, when we say supervision, the meaning for that is following the previous acharyas for being successful in our life. That is a supervision. Supervision is why we are supervised at times, because in process of supervision, we are being seen whether we are following the instructions or principles properly. We are not getting deviated. So all those things are observed, and then that's why it is for us to become successful in the path of Krishna consciousness. And that's why Prabhupada says our movement is under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So he is guiding us, leading us. That's why we are called as Rupanugas. Rupanuga means following the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnava, the Bengali Vaishnava, are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haive Akuti, Habe Hama Bujabe Se Yugal Priti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all activities of the Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the six Goswamis, who are Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Bhatta Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. So, to understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow the footsteps of the Goswamis. So, here comes an important point where it's a direct instruction by Prabhupada to all of us that we have to become a serious and sincere follower of six Goswamis. Now, what is the meaning of becoming followers of six Goswamis? Means you have to follow the teachings of six Goswamis. Now, who has given those teachings to us in our life? Is Srila Prabhupada. So, the more accurately and exactly we follow the instruction of Srila Prabhupada given to us by him, to that degree, we'll be actually able to follow the six Goswamis. That's the purport of this statement written by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Rupa Goswami was a leader of all Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upadesha Amrita. Why has given us the nectar of instruction? For guiding us in all activities, so that we can. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Shikshashtaka. Rupa Goswami gave us Upadesha Amrita so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. So, what is the goal of this book? Is to become pure Vaishnavas. So, at the end of this book, all of us should become pure Vaishnavas. Hari Bol. I hope all of you are there with me.
Hari Bol.
So we'll have just like you have a closed book exam, we'll have a pure devotee exam also. To check how many of you have become, pure Vaishnavas. At least we should have the desire. At least that should be our goal, where we want to achieve that goal. We may be not be at current moment, we may not be so much, having ability or we may not be that much qualified. We can become pure devotee Vaishnavas, but at least we know that someday I want to achieve that goal. हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन मन में पूरा है विश्वास. We should have complete faith, yes, because Srila Prabhupada has told us that will happen. That may take some time, may not be according to our scale, our time, the way we want it to happen. It will surely happen. Maybe this lifetime, maybe next lifetime. We know the example of Mukunda, when Mahaprabhu told him, I will not see him for at least 1 million lifetimes. What was the eagerness of Mukunda? I will see Lord after 1 million lifetimes. The Lord has agreed that after 1 million lifetimes, He will for surely grant me His darshan. That eagerness, that enthusiasm, all of us should carry. Now, again, we may not have that also. That's why we need devotee association, where we see such devotees, see such Vaishnavas, associate with them, get inspiration, and go ahead. That's the reason why we are studying this book, so that we ultimately develop this desire and goal that we want to become pure Vaishnavas. We are continuing ahead. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Prabhupada is very, very clear and precise and vocal in what words he is using. He is saying one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. That means, forget of any advancement if we are not controlling our mind and senses. We are not controlling, then for sure, do not expect any advancement in spiritual life. So, first and foremost duty, Prabhupada is saying, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. And how do we control mind and senses? Yena kena prakarena. How it goes ahead? Yena kena prakarena Krishna. By some way, somewhere or other, we engage our mind and senses in Krishna's service, in devotee service. So, in that way, gradually we'll be able to control the mind and senses. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the moods of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. And then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instruction of Rupa Goswami. Yes. So, to this August assembly here, August audience, I wish to humbly ask this question that how to promote oneself to mode of goodness. This first question, and second question is, what are the factors or reasons which are not allowing us to go to mode of goodness? First question. Maybe we take the second question first. What are the factors and the reasons which you have seen in your own life which doesn't allow us to come to mode of goodness?
Associating with the people who are in mode of passion and ignorance.
Okay, good. Yes,
Eating the food that is in mode of passion or ignorance.
correct.
Desires.
Desires, yes. Anything else?
Attachment
Attachment to
Material things. Material
material
relations.
things, or
Relations.
relations. Sometimes we feel material relation are better than spiritual relation. Feel like,
Lust and lust, anger, and greed.
okay.
This is in passion.
Any other answers? Anyone want to share anything? Otherwise, we continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Shall I say?
Yeah, please, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Ambitions. We have the ambitions.
Okay, we have the ambitions. Like we can have spiritual ambitions also. They are good. Prabhupada had spiritual ambitions. We have to take over the world in 18 days. Spiritual ambition. Generally, it's more of a material ambitions. You see.
Which is we want the sense of control.
Yes. Sense of
Bhoktaram
enjoyment.
Yajnatapasam.
Enjoyment mentality.
We have the shloka Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And we want to become all those three things. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam. I am the enjoyer of everything. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And then third one, Surya Sara Bhutanam. We want to become three things instead of Krishna. If you simply understand Krishna as three things, then actually we can become Shanta. We can become peaceful. That's the peace Survala Prabhupada gave us. You know? So basically, we have to strive to come to mode of goodness, and there are many factors which we individually know in our lives. And since you are doing Bhakti Shastri, that means you are already quite aware that whole mode of goodness life is a baseline for us. It's base for us. It's a foundation for us. It's not everything for us. Mode of goodness is not a goal for us. Our goal is not to come to mode of goodness. Our goal is to come to the transcendental goodness. So mode of goodness is like a flying strip, like a strip where takeoff strip for the flight. It's not that the flight remains; it keeps on rotating on the flying strip only. It is so nice. So to get stuck up with the mode of goodness is also not the goal, because the airplane is meant to fly. So mode of goodness becomes a launch pad for us to go to transcendental goodness. But for that, at least we have to come out of ignorance and passion. Then it's possible. And so to lead a goodness life begins with a clean life, physically, externally clean life. Prabhupada has told us to take bath at least twice a day. Of course, in terms of someone is sick, someone is old, someone is very small kids, for them it's different thing. But in general, for others, grown-up people, it's recommended to take bath twice a day, wear fresh clothes, keep ourselves clean, keep our atmosphere clean, wash our bead bags daily, or not daily, at least regularly. Sometimes bead bags becomes so black that we feel that kya chal raha hai. Most important activity the whole day we are doing with this bead bag, and bead bag is unclean. So I'm saying the small things are there which can really help us to come to goodness. So when these are external things, it also means our consciousness, our thoughts. At least initially you can stop the input of negatives, you can stop the input of passionate things going inside through our eyes, through our ears, through our mouth. And then gradually in this way, as we associate more with goodness, with devotees who are quite stabilized with goodness, seeing their example, and that can help us to uh, actually come to the mode of goodness by reading scriptures. That's one of the important engagement for our intelligence. Chanting Hare Krishna is important engagement for our mind, and these things are along with nourishing these things, they can nourish our soul, they can nourish our consciousness, and help us to remain steadfast on the path of the devotional service. That's why we have to take all ways and means, all measures to come to mode of goodness. It may require at times our lifestyle modification, or it can also mean that we may have to change or give up some habits or add new habits to our life which are helpful. So because Prabhupada is saying, without coming to this, without controlling our mind and senses, and controlling mind and sense is not possible at passion or ignorance level. It requires goodness to control our mind and senses. Once that is achieved, then actually then only one can make advancement in spiritual life. And he's saying everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed to us. Here Prabhupada is also indicating that we need not to go anywhere elsewhere, some other path, some other Baba. We don't want to take Prem ka Anand from somewhere else. We have sufficient Prem ka Anand in our Krishna consciousness moment. Which Prabhupada is saying here. So whatever required for making further progress will be revealed to us is assurance of Srila Prabhupada to us. So that we should give some time. Don't be in hurry to go to that to reach that peak by some cheap ways or some other ways of where we bypass our acharyas. But if you just stick to the path given by Srila Prabhupada, revealed means what? It will the realization of that will be tall in your heart, and then those things will help us to progress ahead on this path. Then comes the golden statement by Srila Prabhupada. It's one of the most powerful statement. He says, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So that attitude development is possible in sadhana bhakti. So in sadhana bhakti, what we are discussing, so whatever initial 4-5 shlokas will be there, they're talking about this development of this attitude, what one should have, so that we can advance in that Krishna consciousness. A follower of Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means senses and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. Second time Prabhupada is saying. Mind and sense control, very essential. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instruction known as Upadeshamrita. So first thing one has to become is Goswami, controlling his mind and senses, and then one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. And for that, one has to follow the instruction of Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhava, Lita Madhava. But Upadeshamrita continues the first instruction for neophyte devotees. One should follow this instruction very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. Then comes the transcendental and divine signature of Srila Prabhupada. The huge signature as it goes. So any questions till now? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I forgot that time, I didn't mention. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote Piyusha Varshini Tika and Vritti. These two commentaries he wrote, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So first commentary is by Radharaman Goswami, which is the name of that commentary is Upadeshamrita Prakashika. That is commentary by Radharaman Goswami. Then comes the next commentary that was written by Bhakti-Rao Thakur. That is called as Piyush Varshini Tika or Vritti. He also wrote Bhasha. He also wrote Vaishnava songs for, I think around 8 to 10 shlokas he wrote songs also. And then we have Bhakti with Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. He also wrote 2-3 commentaries, where that is one is the Anuvritti commentary, Upadesha Amrita Bhasha, and then Prabhupada wrote his commentary of Nectar of Instruction. So these commentaries are currently, as of now, available for all of us.
What is difference between Tika and Bhasha?
Actually, little difference. We'll see. I'll show you the example once we go in the shlokas. We'll see that time. You yourself can experience that whole thing. Not much of a difference, but then still it's a difference. So now, as we begin in this 11 shloka, I'll just summarize this 11 shlokas. What is spoken where? So I wanted to show this thing. Do I have share option with me? The coach isn't allowing sharing for this meeting.
Yes, Prabhu, you can share now.
Yeah. Can we see this?
If you can make presentation mode. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So these are different stages, ladder, and then comes the Bhakti-Rao Thakur and the summary. So if you see the text number till 7th, 1 to 7 is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Text number 8 is Raga Anuga Bhakti. Text number 9, 10, 11 is Bhava or Prema. According to the ladder means our Shraddha, Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Vijana Kriya, all those things. So text number 1, 2, and 3, it is our Shraddha. Text number 4, 5, 6 is about Sadhu Sangha. Text number 7 is Bhajana Kriya and up to Ruchi. 8 is Asakti. 9, 10, 11 is Bhava or Prema.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare.
ये चैंटिंग चल रहा है क्या क्लास के साथ?
Not sure.
So don't worry, these chat I'll share with Prabhuji, and Prabhuji can put on the group for all of you. So you don't have to worry what is there, whether you have to write down or something. So now the text number 1, it talks about initial difficulties that a sadhaka experiences. As we go in this, we understand Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, all these are difficulties what all of us we are suffering with, having always coming in our path. So initial difficulty that sadhaka experiences come the first verse, second, third, and fourth verse, beginning from the second verse is Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyamagraha, and then the third one is Utsaha Nishya Dharya, and then 4 things, 6 exchanges with devotees. These 3 verses, they are Vyavahara with devotees, our interaction with devotees. Vyavahara with devotees and people who are not on the path of bhakti, and those elements that are favorable and unfavorable for the cultivation of bhakti. These things will be discussed in text number 2, 3, and 4. It's more of a vyavahar, our interaction with devotees primarily. That thing will be coming in the second, third, and fourth verse. Text number 5 and 6. It talks about what kind of association assists one's devotion and how one should behave with the three levels of devotee. That's Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, and pure Rasik devotees. So, what kind of association one should take and how one should interact with these kind of devotees? Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari, and Rasika devotees, pure devotees of the Lord. How one should do their interactions with them. Text 7 and 8 talks about how one should chant the holy names when one eventually gains a taste for chanting Harinam. One should engage constantly in services under the guidance of the resident of the Praja. 7th and 8th Shloka talks about that. And the text number 9, 10, 11, it tells us where there are various places in Vrindavan, in the Vrishtham, in accordance with the rasa. So highest point of this place, or the highest point of bhajan in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, it happens in the Radha Kunda. With that, Rupa Goswami concludes his teachings. So does that make sense? What is going to happen in this 11 verses now? First verse we saw initial difficulties what the sadhakas will face. Text 2, 3, and 4. Our vyavahar with devotees, our interaction with devotees will be seen here, and how favorable and unfavorable things are going to affect our cultivation of bhakti. Second, third, and fourth. Fifth and sixth shloka will talk about what kind of association and how one associate with Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, and Shuddha Vaishnava, pure devotee. Seventh and eighth, how one should chant the holy names before gaining taste and after gaining taste. After gaining that, after once rasana becomes purified, once rasana, when the jaundice goes away, then how one tastes the holy name. And how one should be guided by the resident of Vrindavan. 9, 10, 11, it talks about various places in the Vrishtham. And then, according to the Rasa, the highest place of that is Radhakund. So, this will be a journey from difficulties to Radhakund. From Anarthas to Radhakund, we have to go. So, we have 11 shlokas, and we'll try to cover as early as possible before Janmashtami. So, all of you, and including me, we can be relating Janmashtami now with this goal in our heart. So let's embark on our mission with text 1. So we can chat. We are beginning. I did share the screen, but now it's over. So text 1 will read. We'll read the shloka. We'll read translation, and then I'll show you this commentary by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And then we go ahead. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam Jigva vegam udarupastha vegam Gitan vegam yo vishaheta viraha Sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Once I was taking this session for a group of brahmacharis, and so as the shloka goes, so one of our devotee, he raised his hand. It's not in Pune, some other place. He said, Prabhuji, this shloka is not for me. Well, acha, it's for Jiva Goswami, it's for every one of us. So why it's not for you? He said, Prabhuji, I don't want to make disciples all over the world. So this shloka is not for me. No, here if you see Rupa Goswami not saying that one can make disciples all over the world. He's saying one becomes qualified. Qualified means what? He can. but it never says he becomes a spiritual master. He can become a spiritual master. It never says that. You know? So don't go in that way. Okay, basically, what is the meaning of that? He can potentially instruct. He can develop that potential for instruction. Doesn't mean that he becomes qualified completely. He gets that potential. So let's I'm sharing the screen so you can see this. Is it visible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a small prayer to we'll offer the small prayer to Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Daya Sudha Dhuni Dado Damodara Modado Ramananda Sanatana Nugo Raghu Shri Jiva Jivya Prabhu Radha Shama Rasa Amritabdhi Makara Bhratika Samrad Iyah Sa Shri Rupa Iham Pritabdhi Lahari Sparshes Brahm Yachitau. With eagerness, I desire to touch the waves of that ocean of nectar of which is Sri Rupa Goswami. He is the embodiment of the ambrosial Ganga of Sri Chaitanya's mercy and gives great delight to Swarup Damodar. He is a follower of Raya Ramananda and Sanatan Goswami and is the very life of Raghunath Das Goswami and Jiva Goswami. He is indeed the emperor of aquatic swimming within the nectar ocean of Rasa of Shri Radha and Sham. Such a Rupa Goswami, we are offering the obeisances, and there goes the first verse. So this is a Bhajana Lalasa songs written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So maybe you can try to repeat after me. We'll just sing this. प्रपंच पड़िया अगति हैया नानकी उपाय आर
प्रपंच
प्रपंच पद
अगति हैया न देखी उपाय आर
अगति अगति चरण शरण तो माया करिनुसार
अगति रगति चरण शरण तुमय करिनुसार
करम ज्ञान किछु नाही मोर साधना भजन नाई
परम गेय चुना
तुम्ही कृपामय आम्ही तो कंगाल अहै तो कृपाय जाई
तुम्ही कृपामय
पामाया अमित
कंगाल
कंगा
अहै
वस्तु की कृपा चाय
वाक्य मन वेग क्रोध जिव्हा वेग उदर उपस्थ वेग
वाक्य
वाक्य
मन
मना वेग उपस्थ वेगा
मिलिया ये सब संसारे भाषाए दीते छे पर मोद वेग
मिलियाय
मिलिया
सारे
सारे भाषाय
दीते चे
इते छे परम वेगा
अनेक यतने से सबद मने छाणियाची आशी आम्ही
अनेक
अनेक यतने शेषा प्रदान छाडियाची यास आम्ही
अनाथेर नाथ दाकी तव नाम एखन भरसा तुम्ही
नाथ तव नाम एकान भरसी तुम्ही.
So in this way, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this song, And as we go in the purport, Prabhupada writes our Anuvritti commentary. That's why I'm not putting it here. While reading the purport, we'll be covering that Anuvritti commentary by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, as well as our Srila Prabhupada's commentary to that. So you're saying, oh Hari, having fallen into the material world and become depraved, I see no other way. Shelter at your feet is the only shelter for the fallen. I accepted you as my be all and end all. I have no piety or knowledge. I perform no sadhana or bhajan. You are merciful, I am the most needy. I pray for your unconditional mercy. The urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals are united together, cast me adrift in the ocean of material existence, and cause me terrible distress. After many endeavors to subdue them, I have given up hope, O Lord of the helpless. I call your name. You are my shelter now. So this is a song written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur on the verse number 1. Like that, he has written song for, I think so most of the shlokas he has written song except for the Radha Kund. Otherwise, he has written song for every shloka of this Upadeshamrita. Now let's go to the Upadeshamrita Bhasha by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. कृष्णेतर कथा वाग विगतारनाम कामेर अतृप्ते क्रोध वेगो मनोधाम. Discussing topics related to Krishna. Okay, we can recite first. Yes. Krishnetar katha vaga vegataranam
कामेरात्रप्ते क्रोधवेगमनोधाम
सुस्वादु भोजन अशील जिह्वा वेगदास अतिरिक्त भोक्ता ये उदरे ते आश.
सुस्वादु
शील जीव वेगदा अतिरक्ति भोगाये उदरित आशा.
योषिते भृत्यस्त्रैन्य कामेर किंकर उपस्थारे वेगेर बशे कंदर्प तत्पर.
कामेर किंकर उपस्थिर वेगवशे कंदर्प तत्परा.
ये क्षय वेग यार वशे सदराय से जन गोस्वामी करे पृथ्वी विजय.
गयार अवसे सदारय जन गोस्वामी करे पृथ्वी विजय.
So he's saying here, see, one difference with the commentaries of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is more for sadhakas, very strong, cutting. So discussing topic unrelated to Krishna is known as the urge to talk. Frustration of unfulfilled material desires gives rise to the urges of anger and the mind. And then he's saying, Swadu Bhojana Shila Jivha Vegadas. Those whose nature is to enjoy sumptuous meals are slaves to that urge of tongue. Atirikta Bhoktaye Udarite Ash. Those persons who are infatuated with eating simply fulfill the desires of the belly. That drudge of a man who is henpecked by a woman is a slave to sex desire. Now, when it says this, that means that for a man, woman is something which kind of attaches him. For a woman, man is the same thing. So that way, it's like two ways. Such a person who acts under the influence of the genitals is devoted to the god of lust. He is a Kandarpa Tatpar. Upasta Vegere Bashe Kandarpa Tatpar. He is a devotee of the god of lust. He's saying those who are always able to control the six sages are masters of the senses, Goswami, and are able to conquer the world. Prithvi Vijay is possible for them. Whoever is able to control this six things. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his poem form, and we have Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur in his. I think so, Prabhuji, what you asked previously, Srikant Prabhu, the Vritti and
Yes, Prabhu. You
Bhasha.
Vritti and Bhasha. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, they are quite similar. Sometimes the words are used, interchangeably. They are used.
Okay.
So in that sense, they're quite same. Now, you see, Prabhupada has written the purport. He begins the purport interestingly in a very different way altogether. So you may be thinking he should begin with something like mind control or something, but he doesn't begin his purport with mind control. He begins his talking about atonement. He talks about two types of atonements. One is an ineffective atonement, and second is effective atonement. Two things he talks about. He gives example of elephant bathing. Elephant takes bath in the river, and after taking bath in the river, he again comes out and put the mud back on his body. Or he gives example of Christian confessions. Christian goes to church and confess for their all the sins they have committed in the last week, and again commit the entire list of sins in the next week, and again come back for the confession. He talks about sometimes the thief is arrested by the police, and then the thief think, okay, I'll not steal again, but again he ends up in stealing. This is like ineffective atonement. But then he says concluded by saying that how actually the real atonement is involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. He talks about bhakti. How bhakti is a real atonement. That's what in the initial few paragraphs Prabhupada is going to describe about the atonement part. And then later he will come to the point of this discussing all the 6 things. So we'll begin reading. So if one of you can start reading the purport in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.9 to 10 from there onwards. First line of the purport.
Maybe I'll share the screen. So that
Yes,
you-
and many of them may not have the book.
yes, normally we share.
Can I read? In Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.9 to 10, Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligence questions before Sukdev Goswami. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police, yet he continues to steal. Experience is gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gathers experience by seeing, and one who is more intelligent gathers experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and sastras or scriptures, and that stealing is not good, and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, a foolish man, may have the experience of both hearing and seeing, and may even be punished, but still he continues to steal. Even if such a person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Thus, Parikshit Maharaj inquired. Prabhuji, sloka I can't able to read.
Okay, because the translation doesn't go with the shloka. We'll read the shloka together. Drishta
Okay.
Shrutabhyam yat papam jnanam api atmano hitam karoti bhuyo vivashah prayashchittam atho katham क्वचिन् निवर्तते अभद्रात् क्वचित् चरति तत्पुनः प्रायश्चितम् अथो पार्थं मन्ये कुंजर शौचवत्. Here is giving example of elephant bathing. So manye kunjara sauch kunjara is elephant, like a sauchavat, like it's like elephant bath. Continue reading.
He compared atonement to an elephant bathing. The elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes onto the bank, it throws dirt all over its body. What then? is the value of its bathing. Similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking
Yeah, this is
that
important
their
statement. This statement is very important. Like similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Prabhupada is talking about whom? About whom is talking? All of us.
Pretenders.
All of
yeah, all
us.
of us.
Huh?
Yeah.
The we may be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and at the same time committing many forbidden things, thinking that they're cheating, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. They take a seventh offense, you know, to commit sins on the strength of the holy name. So we think if I chant holy name, all my offenses will be ceased, all my sins will be forgiven. Sometimes we hear sometimes that the holy name is so powerful that even someone who may commit some sins in the future will be forgiven. तो फ्यूचर का हो रहा है तो प्रेजेंट का तो हो ही जाएगा ना. Sometimes we have this feeling in our heart, but that's not true, he's saying. So thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. That's why he's saying of the 10 types of offenses one can commit when chanting the holy name of the Lord, this offense is called namno balad yasya hi papa buddhi, committing sinful activities on the strength of the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So one has to be very, very careful of this seventh offense. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, elsewhere also, he warns that sadhaka specifically should be very, very careful with this offense, thinking that okay, I can do some sin, I can do some forbidden activity, and by chanting Hare Krishna, things will be okay. Okay, I do some wrong activity, fine. As an atonement, what I'll chant maybe 16, instead of 16, I'll chant 10, 20 rounds. So my extra rounds will help me to counteract all my forbidden activities, what I have done. That's not true, Prabhupada is saying here. Mataji, can you continue from similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess?
Similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess their sin, thinking that confessing their sin before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the result of their weekly sin. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday.
Today is
This
Saturday,
kind of
tomorrow is Sunday. It's a warning for all of us.
This kind of prayaschita or atonement is
Condemned.
condemned by Parikshit Maharaj, the most intelligent king of his time. Sukhdev Goswami, equally intelligent as benefiting the spiritual master of Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Thus, real prayaschita atonement is awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness.
Very well, yes. So this is again a very important statement. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. The real Parayashitta atonement is the awakening of a dormant Krishna consciousness. So you may be doing so many different way Parayashittas.
Real atonement in
No, wait. So we may be doing very different types of Parayashitta, thinking that okay, if I do this. Now we may have our own mental image of things which we think that if I do, it will be a Prayashitta. But then along with that, we should be aware that the real atonement is actually awakening a dormant Krishna consciousness. Other things, it's like it's like there may be some weeds coming up in the field. We cut the weeds and then throw away, thinking that okay, now the things are gone. But then, as soon as we cut the weeds, we don't remove the roots, but the weeds are there. What happens in that case? After some time, whenever their favorable atmosphere comes for them, again the roots will germinate and again the weeds will grow. So bhakti deals with this problem in what way? Bhakti uproots these things out from its roots itself. That's a specialty of bhakti and atonement. If you want to difference them, both the atonement will just cut the weeds from the top part, and our bhakti, sorry, the atonement will just cut the weeds from just the upper layer, and the bhakti is going to uproot the entire weeds. Kintu cha bhakti bhaja. The bhakti is going to roast. When we have seeds, when the seeds are roasted, they can't germinate. Similarly, the seeds of our sin, papam bijam, that sin cycle is there. So that bijam gets roasted in the process of bhakti, and they will not germinate. Yes, Shrikant.
So sometimes it is said that to counteract certain negative things like shanika, ye hai, wo dosha, ye dosha. So there are some prescribed pujas or something like that which counteract these things, the sinful things. Is that correct?
Actually, that comes in the category of karma kanda. That's not bhakti. That's purely karma kanda. And like someone has see like someone, there is some mrityu yoga in his kundali. But then the astrologer may tell him that okay sir, what you do is now you this Mahamrutyunjay mantra you recite. Well, I was discussing with one astrologer that there he told me this. He told me a very interesting thing. He said some people they come for his Mahamrutyunjay mantra. It's okay if he recite this Mahamrutyunjay mantra, then his life can get increased. But his astrologer asked me, so sir, from where the extra life comes? From where it comes? My question to all of you. Okay, now someone is supposed to die maybe in a month, and then you recite Mahamrutyunjay mantra. Instead of 1 month, he like he stays for maybe like more 2-3 months, or 5 months, or 6 months. He remains alive. From where is this 4-5 months which are added to his life, current life, came?
Next life?
Yeah, yes. What is supposed to be in the next life, from udhar se wo minus hoke idhar aa raha hai. He said, don't think that you're doing some great job by reciting this Mahamrutyunjay mantra. Because karma, the cycle of karma is very, very good. It's very complicated. One other thing in such cases, he said, it comes from there. It's borrowed from there. So overall, it's not a gain in that way. So best is that we accept whatever is coming in our life, and accept that is Krishna's special mercy to all of us. Okay, any other thoughts on this? Anyone has any other thoughts? Or because this is something very important, because as devotees we take to Krishna consciousness, but then later we still have some lingering things in our mind that if I do this, I have to do this puja, I have to do these things. Sometimes that will be required, because someone may not be having that level of faith where he has his exclusive faith that Krishna is the only protector, Krishna will do everything for us. That is very exclusive faith some of us may not have as of now. That's a desired thing, but if someone doesn't have, then he should take some steps where that faith is built up gradually. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, so let's go ahead. Anyone else wants to read? From real atonement involves coming to real knowledge.
Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya.
Yes.
One can gradually.
So this is called a training according to certain principles to revive original knowledge. It's called tapasya. So training means generally tapasya, because training may not be the way which we want it to have. It would be something very, very different than what we even expect in what we want. Generally, training is not that, like if you see there's a training in army, it's not the way the cadets want it to, they want to be trained. In army, the cadets are trained based on the trainer or the procedure, the standard procedure, as they mentioned about standard procedure here. So here is one more thing comes up. So desire for enjoying sense and mind is a seed for offenses in the future. When we want someone is enjoying his mind and senses, from there the seed of offenses in the future will be sown. That's why one has to right now in this phase itself, one has to very sincerely and genuinely try to control his mind and senses and using them in Krishna's service. So as he's going ahead now, this tapasya is something very, very important. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam sudhet brahma saukyam tu anantam. Tapasya is something which purifies us, gives us shuddhi, and after purification, this tapasya gives us brahma saukyam. It gives us happiness, spiritual happiness we get by doing so. You are getting what we are discussing now? All of us we are aware, clear what's going on? That's why tapasya is very, very much emphasized throughout the scriptures. You never see anywhere, things are coming very, very easily. Like even Hiranyakashipu had to do tapasya. Kumbhakarna they did tapasya. You want to achieve something higher. Even asuras could do that. Demigod for sure, and what to speak of devotees also, as devotees. Prabhupada has made the tapasya very easy for us. Our tapasya is to chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regular principles, and stay with devotees. So staying with devotees is also tapasya in Kali Yuga especially. So in Kali Yuga, staying with devotees is also tapasya. Why? Because many times in this devotee association, we may get certainly very much purified. Just a minute. That's why tapasya is something which one has to voluntarily take. And that's why we have this Kartik month just began few days back. We have four months of tapasya. In first month we don't eat the vegetables. In second month we don't take curd. In third month we don't take
Milk.
And fourth month we don't take urad dal. At least this basic tapasya for sure we can do. Not for going for a big tapasya. 4 rags, as I said, is enough tapasya. And also to take prasadam to the Lord and avoid these 4 things in the 4 months can also become our very good tapasya for all of us. So tapasya is must. One can't get away from tapasya. And tapasya can actually offer us a very sublime result, provided if we continue with the tapasya. You see, even materially, there are so many people doing tapasya in this world. We have this, players, different players of different games, Olympic games, athletics. How much tapasya they do? What cause they have? Just have a cause of a game. Many game play, cricket, football, basketball, any games you take. So much tapasya they do. They're so much regulated. They're so much having a regime. So this tapasya, we just can't say no. We can't just say. As if our devotees, at least it is very naturally expected that we should be doing now. There are different. There's something called traditional tapasya, and then we have a ISKCON tapasya. As I said, tapasya based on what actually we can do. That kind of tapasya. That's a very much compassion of Prabhupada that he has given us tapasya, which naturally we can follow. Now, if we see there is something called Bhishma Panchak. You have seen sometimes some devotees following Bhishma Panchak is so rigid. On day 1, 1 spoon this, day 2, 1 spoon this, day 3, 1 spoon this, and day 5, 1 spoon this. That's it for a day. Now, Prabhupada never recommended that to us, but then sometimes some devotees they get inspired and do some extra tapasya. So, I think so. It was you are aware of this Kadamba Kanan Maharaj? How many of you know Kadamba Kanan Maharaj?
Yes, bro.
Kadamba Kanan Maharaj is the disciple Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. So once Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj and Kadamba Kanan Maharaj were together in the same room. And that was the room of his Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. His SB Keshav Maharaj's room that was. And then, Kadam Kanan Maharaj came, he saw he saw Maharaj's sannyas danda. SB Keshav Maharaj sannyas danda he saw. He said, Maharaj, Kadam Kanan Maharaj said to SB Keshav Maharaj, Maharaj, your danda is so heavy. Explication Maharaj said, Maharaj, you only gave me. Maharaj said, come to my room. Then he showed his own danda. Kadam Karna Maharaj's Tidandi Sannyas danda. Explication Maharaj said, Maharaj is so light. So Maharaj said, you want to have it? Maharaj said, take it. He gave it to him. And then he said, very interesting thing. He said, vows of sannyas are already very heavy. They are already heavy. And why want to carry a heavy danda to add to it? Why want to do more tapasya? Let's do tapasya, whatever is recommended, whatever is sufficient, required for us. So we are not tapasya fanatics in ISKCON. Our goal of tapasya is actually to achieve Krishna. If Ekadashi, generally Ekadashi means Nirjala Ekadashi. Prabhupada said devotee means pure devotee. Ekadashi means Nirjala Ekadashi. Yeah. That's the way Prabhupada said. But then along with that, he also said, whatever suits one's body. If suppose for someone, doing Nirjala Ekadashi becomes a very much such a strenuous activity that, his whole mind is in that Nirjala Ekadashi, Nirjala Ekadashi, Nirjala Ekadashi, and then he's not remembering Krishna at whatsoever. Whether such kind of tapasya is required to us, it's better that such devotee takes prasad and then chant Hare Krishna and be with devotees or serve devotees. So for us, Ekadashi, some of us may have that ability to follow and do Nirjala Ekadashi, some of us cannot. That's okay. Point is that Upavasa means to stay near the Lord. One can eat prasad and stay near the Lord also. And for some devotees, they can, without taking prasad, they can completely be with the Lord. Whatever works for us, we should do. Don't take unnecessary tapasya. That's what. Let's go ahead. You can continue ahead with the further things.
Gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possession in charity, by being outwardly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yoga asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association, all the practice for controlling the mind by the majestic yoga process simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, service, direction of bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. First one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak.
How many of us have this experience? How many of us have this experience? As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. One of our senior devotees says, it's like, when for someone, when he gets a mic, he just can't leave the mic. This person becomes as they in Hindi they say, mic ka lal. Mic ka lal means like for him, he's got a mic now. Now mic has become his property and the mic is stuck in his hand and his mouth, not able to give it up. So as soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. Is something, if we feel that we have that, then we have a lot of homework to do. A lot of things to work upon. That's what this, when we talk about urges, it's a gati, it's a veg. Veg means it has speed. It has, acceleration. And somehow we have to either dovetail it somewhere, or we should have some things where, when you may be knowing how when the aeroplane becomes uncontrolled on the airstrip, they have to have some kind of measures where they put some this kind of strips on the airstrip. So where the plane gets stuck in that and it stops gradually. Similarly, the veg of our vacha, speaking power, one has to control that. That's what I think. If that's for the next statement, very again very amazing. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. One of our His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj once said, "Science is gold. Silence is golden, but it is golden only when we talk about golden avatar. Otherwise, people of this world, they may be silent. You know, there are some people who take this Mauna Vrat, primarily Mayavadi sannyasis, Mayavadi people, but they have a slate in front of them. Slate. You know, slate.
Yes.
So they use the slate to speak all the nonsense. Their mouth is shut, but they are very, very highly active. But mind is uncontrolled, and the slate is full, always filled. That's why the real thing is about to how that is curbed is uh, talk about the. Just a minute, I was just looking for Bhagavad Gita. 17. So in Bhagavad Gita, there's a shloka which comes in 17th chapter and 5th verse. It talks about those who undergo severe austerity and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by the lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. I'm just going a little back. I just remember this. There is a reference in Bhagavad Gita 17.5. Please do refer to this. And here Krishna talks about how one should not go unnecessary austerities which are not recommended in scriptures. Self-ordained austerities. One should not to take to that. If someone is doing it, that is called a demoniac. Krishna is saying that in Gita. So please note that point. And then based on that was on austerities, which we were discussing a little back. Coming back to the point of Vacho Vegam. Then Prabhupada gives example of a toad, a frog. So no, in now rainy, this is the time of rainy season. A lot of frogs, they do croaking. So in croaking the frogs attract only death. Croaking the frog is going to attract the snakes. The snake will come and snake is going to devour this frog. That becomes his death. So let's go ahead. A toad in the field. Can you continue reading?
From example of toad, no, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of the toad, however, simply invites the snake, please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, do not mean self-imposed silence, the external process of Mona. As Mayavadi philosopher thinks, silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Sila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name from form, qualities, and pastimes of lords. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge of speech.
Yes. So this was the first one. Vacho Vegam. You know? Now what has happened, Prabhupada, in writing this, while writing this NOI commentary, he talks about now this thing, urge of speak, and again he'll come back to this urge of speak again. As we go a little ahead in the purport, and tell you from where. If you go to like there is this written in his Anuvritti explanation of Upadeshamrita, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur writes that our material identification creates three kinds of urges: the urge to speak, the urge or demands of the mind, and the demands of the body. You could find that? मिल गया? थोड़ा आगे है, एक दो पेज आगे.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah. When a living entity falls victim to these three types of urges, his life becomes inauspicious. One who becomes resisting these demands or urges is called tapasvi, or one who practices austerities. By such tapasya, one can overcome victimization by the material energy, the external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we refer to urge to speak, we refer to useless talking, such as that of impersonal Mayavadi philosophers, or of a person engaged in the fruitive activities, technically called karma kand, or of materialistic people who simply want to enjoy life without restriction. All such talks of literatures are practical exhibitions of the urge to speak. Many people are talking nonsensically and writing volumes of useless books. And all this is a result of the urge to speak. To counteract this tendency, we have to divert our talking to the subject of Krishna. This is the explanation in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the explanation in Bhagavatam. Nayadvachaschitrapadam hareryasho jagat pavitram praganita karvichit tadvayasam tirtham uchanti manasa nayatra hamsa nirmanti ushikshaya. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly person to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Why is a tirtha? Pilgrimage of crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam avadhyatapi namani anantasya yashonkitani yat shrivanti gayanti grananti sadhava. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastime, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution. Revolution means viplava, janataga viplava. In the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization, such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. The conclusion is that only when we talk about devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can we refrain from useless nonsensical talk. We should always endeavor to use our speaking power solely for the purpose of realizing Krishna consciousness. Amazing, no? Prabhupada is so distinctly, clearly, in a simple way, written this purport for all of us. So, any questions on this, Vacho Begum?
One thing is, in our office, we need to talk about so many things.
So that's our profession. So professionally, again, there also we should be very, very aware, very, very conscious whether I am talking, whether I am to the point. Sometimes we don't remain to the point and we go off astray here and there. So whatever requires us, if someone is student, he may require to talk about his academics. If someone is inside an office, he may talk about his work at the office. That's all right. But when it comes to sharing our thought process, our consciousness, our feelings, our difficulty, then we should not do that with them. Because that has to be done. In our case, when we are devotees, we have to do that with devotees primarily, not with others. So as we go ahead in the fourth shloka, we'll see what is the fourth one? Yeah. Dadati prati grunati prati grihati Guyam akati pruchati. So that Guyam akati pruchati part, sharing our heart should not be done with someone who is a potential devotee, who has not yet become a devotee. That's the way where we have to deal with our office. Wherever required, we have to do the needful. Along with that, knowing very well that this is just my duty, I'm doing it as out of duty. Okay, that's okay. Okay, let's continue. Let's come back to the restlessness or fickleness of the mind. Manovega is controlled when one can fix mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Could you find that? Can someone read that from there?
The restlessness or fickleness of mind, manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.31 says, कृष्ण सूर्य कृष्ण सूर्य सम माया है अंधकार यहाँ कृष्ण ताहा नहीं माया रा अधिकार. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of minds being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled. Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether, but if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry when the miscreant brothers Jagai and Madai, who blasphemed and struck Nityananda Prabhu. In his Shikshashtaka, Lord Chaitanya wrote, Pranadapi sunichena tarorapi saheshnuna. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the tree. One may then ask, why Lord exhibited his anger? The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults to one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotees is blasphemed, a genuine devotee becomes angry and acts like a fire against the offenders. Krodha, anger, cannot be stopped, but it can be applied rightly. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he is worshipped as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramachandra. This means that he utilized his anger in the right way. Arjuna serves as another example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. You must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord. Should I continue?
Yeah. Yes, you can continue. Then we'll summarize the whole thing.
Yeah. As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasad. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the urge of tongue. One should take prasad at scheduled times and should not eat in the restaurants or sweetmeat shops simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or belly.
I am not saying anything. Prabhupada is-
We are reading it. If we stick to the principle of taking only prasad, the urges of the belly and tongue can be controlled. In a similar manner, the urges of the genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. The genitals should be used to beget a Krishna conscious child, otherwise, they should not be used. The Krishna conscious movement encourages marriage not for the satisfaction of genitals but for begetting of Krishna conscious children. As soon as the children are little grown up, they are sent to our Gurukula school, where they are trained to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. Many such Krishna conscious children are required, and one who is capable of bringing forth Krishna conscious offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals. When one is fully practiced in the methods of Krishna conscious control, he can become qualified to be a bona fide spiritual master.
Yes, later part we read.
Yes.
Uska baad wala part will come back to that. But if you see the summarize these things, Prabhupada, for the 6 urges, he's giving 6 solutions. Controlling the speech, solution is do Krishna Katha. Utilize your tongue in saying, reciting Krishna Katha. Controlling the mind, what solution Prabhupada offers? Thinking of Krishna and serving Krishna with the mind. How to control the anger?
Utilizing it.
Again, the blasphemers of Krishna and his devotees. You become angry with them. Controlling the tongue and belly.
Eat only prasad.
Eat only Krishna Prasad at scheduled time when Krishna gives. Controlling the genitals is to have Krishna conscious children, not for enjoyment. That's the way Prabhupada summarized the whole thing. Now we read the later part, Anuvritti commentary, all those things. Come to the as for the agitation of the flickering mind.
As for the agitations of the flickering mind, they are divided into two divisions. The first is called avirodha priti, or unrestricted attachment, and the other is called virodha yukta krodha, anger arising from frustration. Adherence to the philosophy of the Mayavadis, belief in the fruitive results of the Karmavadis, and belief in plans based on materialistic desires are called Avirodha Priti. Jnanis, karmis, and materialistic plan makers generally attract the attention of the conditioned souls. But when the materialists cannot fulfill their plan and when their devices are frustrated, they become angry. Frustration of material desire produces anger. Similarly, the demands of the body can be divided into three categories: the demands of the tongue, belly, and genitals. One may observe that the three senses are physically situated in a straight line as far as the body is concerned, and that the bodily demands begin with tongue. If one can restrict the demands of the tongue by limiting its activities to eating of prasad, the urges of belly and genitals are automatically be controlled. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura says,
शरीर विद्याजान जड़ेंद्रिय ताहे काल जीव फैले विषय सागरे तार मध्य जीवाति लोभ माया सुदुर्मति ताकि जेता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दयामय कई बार जीव जा स्व प्रसाद अन्न दिलो भाई सही अन्ना अमृत खाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेमी डाको चैतन्य ताय. So basically that means what? Before taking prasad we should recite prayer. Many of us, we as soon as prasadam plate ka Mahaprasad ki jai karke we just eat. It's good. You are eager for prasad. That's nice. But when you recite this prayer, then reciting this prayer puts us in a proper consciousness of seeing that as prasad. There are so many pastimes with prasad. Once Navayogendra Maharaj was serving Prabhupada, as personal assistant of Prabhupada. And then, Prabhupada wanted neem begun. Neem begun? हाँ, neem begun. नीम पे कुछ तो चाहिए था. Then he was not knowing how to make it. So he just went, bought some neem leaves and used that. As soon as Prabhupada ate it, it was highly kadwa. Prabhupada said, which leaves you use? He said, I use the mature leaves. He said, no, you should use tender leaves. But in the meantime, one devotee came, he said, do you have some Mahama of Srila Prabhupada? Navadeva Maharaj gave him this special neem dish. And then this devotee took and he went, and after 1 year, Maharaj went to Africa, and then he met this devotee. He said, Prabhu, this devotee said, Maharaj, remember you gave me this Maha of Srila Prabhupada? It is still there. So why? So we could not eat it only. It's so kadwa. Sometimes from Mahaprasad plate also, because I being in the guest seva, I see many times devotees, they come from Mahaprasad. They want gulab jam Mahaprasad. They don't want salt Mahaprasad. They were choosing Mahaprasad also. But that should not be our, whatever is Mahaprasad, it has anything as potency. We know the past time Ramanacharya, when his disciples were taking his Mahama daily. So once after his meal, he went and he washed his hands in a pushkarini, in a pond. The fishes came, they ate the rice particle from his hand, which has come there. And instantaneously, they became in 400 forms. In that same pond, they went back to the Vaikuntha in front of everyone. The disciples said, Guru Maharaj, we are eating a Mahama daily, day in, day out. Every 3 meals of the day, we are eating a Maha. Why that's not happening? He said the fish came with, fish didn't discriminate it in the Mahama. He saw that he just took it. He did not want, okay, I want sweet Mahama or I want, sabji Mahama or this Mahama. He just took it. So basically, one has to see that as prasad, then only that is going to act. Simply, okay, sometimes we may certify, okay, this is prasad, but we don't see it as prasad, then how that can act as prasad in our consciousness? Yes, we'll continue.
O Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Somehow or other, we have fallen into the ocean of material sense enjoyment, and of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world, but you, dear Krishna, are very kind to us. You have sent this nice prasad to help us conquer the tongue. Therefore, let us take this prasad to our full satisfaction and glorify your Lordship, Shri Radha and Krishna, and in love call for the help of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhu Nityananda.
So this is the mode in which we take prasad. Not that we start the vacuum cleaner mode or just taking in things. With this consciousness, we see prasad, offer a prayer, then you honor the prasad. Let's continue ahead.
There are 6 kinds of rasas, tastes, and if one is agitated by any one of them, he becomes controlled by the urges of the tongue.
Now we know 6 rasas, no? One is sweet, pungent, sour. Like that, there are 6 rasas. If even one, if one of them, one is agitated, even one of them, he becomes controlled by the urge of tongue. This is why some persons are attracted to the eating of.
Yeah, some persons are attracted to the eating of meat, fish, crabs, eggs, and other things produced by semen and blood and eaten in the form of dead bodies. Others are attracted by eating vegetable, creepers, spinach, or milk products, but all for the satisfaction of the tongue's demands. Such eating for sense gratification include the use of extra quantities of spices like chili and tamarind, is to be given up by Krishna conscious persons.
Okay, next instruction Prabhupada gave. Chili and tamarind,
Chili and tamarind.
which you can like. Don't think I am over it. I am also with all of you. I am also struggling with giving up these things. I am also a learner, sadhaka. Yeah.
The use of pan, hira,
पान नहीं, पान.
pan, okay. The use
पान
of
मतलब वो तवा हो जाता है. पान
हाँ,
मतलब वो पान खाने वाला पान.
the use of pan, hiritaki, betel nuts, various spices used in pan making, tobacco, LSD, marijuana, opium, liquor, coffee, and tea is indulged in to fulfill illicit demands. Are we allowed to eat pan or no?
No, that's what he's saying. No pan.
Bitter leaf, no, right?
No, pan as a combination we are not allowed to eat.
Okay.
Leaf with tuna, with katha, with all the materials inside, with supari, and then that we don't take only.
But just bitter leaf, it's offered to Krishna that.
But as a leaf, some devotees they may have, no, doctors also recommend for this blood purification, everything. They may tell to take that leaf. There's something called one maghai pan ka maghai pan. I don't know how many of you know. Small leaves. They are small in size and shape. They are very much blood purifier, you can say. So what I understand as a pan means it's like a complete unit. पूरा वो बना हुआ pan, triangular with masala in that.
If we can practice accepting only remnants of food offered to Krishna, it is possible to get free from Maya's victimization. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk products, and water are proper foods to offer to the Lord, as Lord Krishna himself prescribes. However, if one accepts prasad only because of its palatable taste and thus eats too much, he also falls prey to trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue.
It's quantifying now. Prabhupada now initially quality, now is quantifying. Prabhupada is now filling.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to avoid very palatable dishes even while eating prasad.
This is the important point. I have marked it. Notes. Yes, continue.
If we offer palatable dishes to the deity with the intention of eating such nice food, we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. If we accept the invitation of a rich man with the idea of receiving palatable food, we are also trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.227, it is stated,
जीवे लालसा ये उति उति धाय शिष्णोदर परायण कृष्ण नाही पाए. Very graphic shloka. Jivera lalasa. Jiva lalasa, easy to understand. Lalasa, the attraction of the tongue. इति उति धाय, इति उति धाय, इधर उधर भागता है वो, इधर से उधर, पिलर टू पोस्ट भागता है. किसके लिए? टंग को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए. ऐसा व्यक्ति कैसा होता है? इस शिष्णोदर परायण. नॉर्मली विसे नारायण परायण, विष्णु परायण, है ना, और प्रभुपाद परायण. But he is what? He is Shishnodura Parayana. Shishna means genitals and Udara means stomach. So he is a disciple or a devotee of what? Shishnodara. And such a person will not get Krishna. Will not get Krishna. Our Gauragovinda Maharaj very strongly speaks about this. If you hear his lectures, his favorite shloka. One of his favorite shloka. Jivara lala se iti uti dhaya. Shishnodara Parayana Krishna nahi paye. Always he quotes shloka in terms of when it comes to eating. Yes, continue.
That person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate and who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals is unable to attain Krishna. As stated before, the tongue, the belly, and genitals are all situated in a straight line and they fall in the same category. Lord Chaitanya had said, Bhalana kahibe ar bhalana paribe. Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious foodstuffs. Those who suffer from disease of stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly. At least according to this analysis, when we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences in life. However, if we observe fasting days like Ekadashi, Janmashtami, we can restrain the demands of the belly. So I think next we have covered as far as the urges.
Yeah. Well, little is remaining. We'll just through it fast. Then we tomorrow begin the next topic.
As far as the urges of the genitals are concerned, there are two: proper and improper, or legal and illicit sex. When a man is properly mature, he can marry according to the rules and regulations of the Shastras and use his genitals for begetting nice children. That is legal and religious. Otherwise, he may adopt many artificial means to satisfy the demands of the genitals and he may not use any restraint. When one indulges in illicit sex life, as defined by the Shastras, either by thinking, planning, talking about, or actually having sexual intercourse, or by satisfying the genitals by artificial means, he is caught in the clutches of Maya. These instructions apply not only to the householders but also to the Tyagis or those who are in the renounced order of life. In his
Read
book,
translation.
in his book Prema Vivarta, chapter 7, Sri Jagadananda Pandita says, My dear brother, you are in a renounced order of life. Should not listen to the talk about ordinary worldly things, nor should you talk about the worldly things when you meet with others. Do not think of women even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that forbids you to associate with women. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. Do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remain humble and serve their lordships, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, in your hearts of hearts. The
Yes, the conclusion is that
conclusion is that one who can control the six items: speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, genitals, is to be called the Swami or Goswami. Swami means master, and Goswami means master of the go or senses. When one accepts the renounced order of life, he automatically assumes the title of Swami. This does not mean that he is the master of his family, community, or society. He must be master of his senses. Unless one is a master of his senses, he should not be called a Goswami, but Godas, servant of the senses. Following in the footsteps of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, all Swamis and Goswamis should fully engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As opposed to this, the Godas engage in the service of the senses or in the service of the material world. They have no other engagement. Prahlad Maharaj has further described the Godas as Adanta Go, which refers to one whose senses are not controlled. The Adanta Go cannot become a servant of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30, Prahlad Maharaj has said, Matirna Krishna Parataswato va mito vipatyet griha vratanam adanta gobir vishatam tamisram punah punascharvita charvananam. For those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna conscious, but not by personal endeavor, by instructions from others, or by joint conferences. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chewed.
doing the shoot. Punah Charvita Charvana. It's like we have this uh,
Chewing gum,
किंगडम नहीं गन्ने का जूस निकलता है ना
गन्ने का जूस.
sugar cane juice to take out sugar cane juice and you see so many times it takes that ganna out of that machine at one point of time there's nothing left in that and it's like what is going chewing the should take that ganna का वो जो होता है उसको वापस ले लो उसको चबा दे बेटा hoping that someday something will come out of it nothing and what Prabhuji said about chewing gum you chew nothing is coming out after some time it's just gum and the chewing the chewed so of course, there are many more details to this, but because of our interest of our time, we may have to keep it because we need to cover the syllabus. And after that time permits, I was thinking we can go back and discuss many uh, more details to it. we're just going, we're sticking to Prabhupada purports and just going through it, but taking details or additional other parts, it may require additional time also for us. And we have a limitation of time. So all of you are okay with the way we are going, or you have any other thoughts or any other ways you feel we should improve or change, or any other way you want us to do? You're open for discussion in that way. Or if you're not comfortable, tell me directly. You can tell to Shrikant Prabhu. He'll not tell me who has told it, but we'll try to change in case if that's required. If this way is okay for all of you, what I feel is in this way we don't miss anything what Prabhupada has written. Everything we cover, and wherever require we add to it. And there are certain other slides which I have apart from the 2 slides which I already showed you, where in a details discuss. So wherever required, I'll bring them out and show those things also. Okay, so we'll end here for the day.
Yes.
So this is an entire batch project. This 12 devotees.
No, Prabhuji, I think we have more. They could not attend today. Some of them I called, but they were outside, like in Vrindavan. Or
Because
somewhere.
tomorrow also I'm quite tight on my things. Because I am at Kolhapur. If I would have been Pune, then it would have been more peaceful for me. I'm at Kolhapur in midst of programs. As I end now this, immediately there are 2 more classes waiting.
Yeah.
Same picture is tomorrow. So tomorrow I am here to end it early. We'll begin. If you wish, I don't know whether 4 o'clock is early for all of you. But we can begin at 4:30 because that's what time we are given. And then for tomorrow only we'll end at 6 because I have an immediate class at 6. Then I have a class at 7. I have a class at 8 tomorrow. I have to keep my little voice also active so I can go through it. Okay, so please bear with me for this week. Next week, we'll try to go for either we can continue the same time, otherwise, every week, if I come to Kolhapur next week again, you have to go for a change of time. This time is okay for all the devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji.
4:30. You can take a vote, Prabhu, Shrikant
We
Prabhu.
can take a poll.
I'll take poll on the group. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.